Oh, and I pressed the wrong intro button. It's time to take a nap, little kids. Yes, we are live. There we go. Welcome to the Scab Relief personnel. Eddie is out of pocket and the children will play. Welcome to Fresh Black.Coffee. I'm David Van, regular co-host, now sitting in the captain's chair for Eddie, who's taking a little bit of time with family. And sitting in is our recurrent guest, David Oldham. David, it's good to see you today.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
David and I, we've done a few projects from, A More Perfect Union, your Constitutional Grounds podcast. Right. Before that, 3D Live. Remember those days?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tom and the Three Daves. And so anyway, but here we are. It's the end of May. By the way, happy traditional Memorial Day today.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So now you're from Central California, Bakersfield. I guess it's not quite central.
Southern California.
It is. Yeah. But it's still in the old ancient lake area, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. On the other side of the mountains.
No, I grew up at the beach. So
really?
You know, yeah. Just north of Vandenberg, where they shoot off all the missiles, all the rockets.
Okay.
So, I grew up in Pismo Beach, California, and the 5 cities area of Central California. And then when I was grown, when I reached adulthood, I chased a girl over to Bakersfield and raised a family.
Yeah.
So before becoming an Okie by choice.
Regulars at the Garlic Festival and
up north, didn't actually ever go to the Garlic Festival.
I remember talking about that one day.
Yeah,
with you,
it was big. It's big in California.
Yes. So anyway, but you finally decided that you love freedom more than you loved California. As a homeschooler, you were kind of under the target, from the leftists, and you come here and join the Tea Party movement. That's when we met and caused a lot of trouble.
That is true.
So. But anyway, man, I want to get to News Roundup today because we are less than 3 weeks from a very, very important elections primary coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, looking at, I want to talk governor's race because, that's turned into a mudfest, hasn't it? What have you seen?
Oh, well, there's a lot of PAC money being spent for all sorts of different directions. I've seen ads for different PACs or from different PACs, and it's quite amazing the stuff that they try to point out. What I have noticed that this time around, just as an aside, and that is, it seems like the money is coming from out of state, but the people creating the ads are in state. So they have local knowledge of the contenders in whatever race the PAC money is being spent in. And so the targeting of the message is much better than it has been in years past.
Yeah.
So it's directly hitting to what Oklahomans would think about. No, this isn't to say that I like, all the dark money and everything else as well, but being a freedom proponent as I am, how can you have dark money in an open race? Dark money just means that there's prohibitions. And so you can't really have dark money in a truly free society, in a free race. It's not dark because nobody has the right to know in the first place. Okay, so
you're not against dark money, you're against calling it dark.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. And so I use the term loosely just because what else do I call it?
At least people know what you're referring to.
At least people know what I'm referring to. And so I've noticed how much better this cycle the ads are targeted to Oklahomans. Before they were coming, like it would be somebody in Washington, D.C. would be trying to influence a state race, state governorship or the attorney general or something like that.
Oh, for their own agenda.
For their own agenda.
Yeah.
And the attacks were ridiculous. Mm-hmm. They were coming out of Washington, D.C. They had nothing to do with anything going on in Oklahoma. And it was a waste of time and money on their part because the attacks were not germane to anything Oklahomans cared about.
Okay, now this is a very pragmatic thing, but I forgot to start the show with a disclaimer. Eddie is a very pragmatic guy when it comes to politics. You, however, are quite principled, almost, I guess your wife would say maybe to a fault, and as Lori and I talked about it, your wife, for David, every play in the game is go for the end zone, throw it deep. And a lot of us, we'd be happy just to get a first down.
Oh, sure.
And you quickly rebut that with saying, yes, but always know your goal is the end zone.
Correct. And it doesn't mean that every pass you take is a Hail Mary.
Yeah, a deep bomb.
A deep bomb. Mm-hmm. Because what you do is you are always talking about the deep bomb. Therefore, they have to defend the deep bomb and you can make first downs.
Yeah.
And so if we are not talking ever about getting to the end zone, if we're only ever focused on the next first down line.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you.
You miss a lot of the field.
Now, to Eddie's credit, we'll say this. You remember when Trump was running early in 2016.
Right.
And he was asked by journalists, well, if abortion is murder, then you're going to prosecute mothers. And he initially said yes.
Correct.
And then his handlers got a hold of us. No, you're just going after doctors. And Eddie told our friend Pat Campbell, he says, Trump was right the first time. Since when does only the hitman get prosecuted and not the person who hired the hitman?
Correct.
So I just want to give Eddie his due. He called that right then. and some of the others who you would have thought be more pragmatic, like preachers or university presidents up in Bartlesville, who's no, you don't ever go after the mother,
Right.
So anyway, I just want to give that disclaimer. You're going to hear less pragmatism and more principle coming out of David today.
The thing is that when you're shooting, when you stay idealistic, you take the pragmatic wins that come along with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that you get more wins when you are pushing further up the field.
Right.
In football, by being able to open up the long ball, you open up the middle and you can make the shorter passes, which are always for a first down.
The tricky thing is that people who will grant us a short-term victory or a very nearsighted victory sometime will exact the cost of us of the very principles we stand for.
Correct.
And it was like Satan saying to Jesus, tempted in the wilderness, he says, I'll give you everything, just bow down to me.
Right.
Well, if you're bowed down to him, you have nothing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, but you were talking dark money in elections and what's going on here.
So the dark money this time around, I think, is being spent better. But that means that we have more players locally who are creating all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Who are feeding information to those who are creating if they're still out of state.
Yeah.
And so I've just noticed the change this time around. I've noticed that they are starting to go at each other. I think we're going to see more of that in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to go at each other to try to set themselves apart and it's not going to be kumbaya for the next 3 weeks.
One of the things that's very hard typically is to pin down who these dark money organizations are, because they all have this very patriotic, conservative sounding name, when they're attacking sometimes the very principled conservatives and probably could be coming from some West Coast left-leaning organization.
Right.
So anyway, where I was going with this is AI has really helped us to unveil some of them, because I just asked Grok, which is, Elon Musk Twitter based, thing. I said, hey, an ad just came out claiming yada, 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 and where's that coming from? And they said the very dark money, and they said it's connected to, in this case, it was a Gettner Drummond support thing, everything they're doing. And they could, you could tell enough from public records who is coming from.
Okay.
But sometimes, and I'll tell you, two years ago, I was helping Eddie on a city council race.
Yeah, you were.
And, I tried my best to get him not to hire me. I said, you can do better. No, Dave, I want you, and I tried to set him up with a pretty respected local campaign consulting group. They wouldn't return the call.
Oh, right.
And I couldn't figure out what. And then all of a sudden the race is going on, and Eddie's, he's raised a respectable, I don't know, $35,000.
Oh my. Okay.
And, but all of a sudden these mailers come out attacking the West Coast leftist that's in office now that he's running against. Oh, this is good, and everything. We didn't know. We didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And then the morning after the primary, I get a call. And it's from this consulting firm. Say, okay, we can talk now. We haven't been able to talk until now. And so here's how much money we raised. Here's the mailers we did, all this. I'm like, oh, and all of a sudden they went from, I can't believe they stiffed me, wouldn't even return my call, to like, oh, they raised twice as much money as he did on his campaign. But they're following the law to the T. No communication, no collaboration on it.
Right.
So, and that's one of the rules, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Under the election ethics rules. Which
I think largely is following a Supreme Court ruling. Remember the campaign finance, the McCain-Feingold thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And G.W. Bush capitulated and signed it after saying he was opposed to it. But the Supreme Court said in Citizens United, I think was the name of the ruling, it says you cannot prohibit people's free speech, which basically took all the caps off, but they cannot be coordinated with the campaign. They must truly be separate and independent.
Yeah, even though everybody sets up a PAC when they start their campaign.
Often except Eddie. Eddie just had more friends than he knew of.
Right. Well, that's the problem with these ethics. These ethics things are really not ethical themselves. They often violate the Constitution. And
there he said it. How many minutes? We're 13 minutes in the show, and he said Constitution. There we go.
Well, that's what they did.
All right, those of you who have the upper high, I don't know what the pool's going over there for you watching. Whenever we have David in, you have to know how many minutes. All right, well, let's go back to the PACs. Go ahead.
So anyway, but I think that they are they're doing a better job this year. They've been some of them seem ridiculous and over the top, and that's always good. I think that we have a number of halfway decent choices. I'll say that as a constitutionalist,
for
never happy. The gubernatorial race.
Well, that's very big of you.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, but yet you're willing to tolerate us mere mortals, David.
Well, the question is the Constitution willing to tolerate them? Mm-hmm. And I think anybody that calls themselves a constitutionalist will have to, raise eyebrows. Mm-hmm. The big thing that I've had this year, because me and my position constitutionally on public schooling.
Well, I know a lot. I don't claim to know everything because I get lost just 10 minutes into every conversation we have. But yes, yeah.
Well, basically, public schooling is unconstitutional because you're charging people who can't use the service for the service.
Yeah.
And
it is socialism.
It is pure and unadulterated.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, nobody's willing to talk about it. And the theme that I have heard this year, and it's something that I'm going to have to work on with my messaging. It's not like I haven't heard it before, but I've really heard it this year. As I bring this subject up, it's like, oh, we have to change the Oklahoma Constitution. And so that's their go-to get out of the question.
Yeah.
And the sad part is that does not acknowledge that they are required under the U.S. Constitution to swear to uphold the U.S. Constitution and no other. But under the state constitution, they also have to uphold the state constitution. The problem is we have provisions in the state constitution for this socialist public schooling.
Yes, I think the language is the state shall guarantee to every child a common education. Let's define what they meant at the time, because my grandpa went through that.
Right.
It's what they call primary school, K through 8, or no, 1 through 8. There was no kindergarten. Right. There was no secondary or high school back then. And education started in November and ended in March.
Well, I believe also in the Constitution, we had the land trust to pay for the schools. We also had the legislature constitutionally is limited to $43 per capita spending.
Tell me what that means.
What that means is per capita, per student, they can spend $43
on education.
On education. But then they also are elsewhere tasked with spending whatever it takes.
Okay, so even in that guarantee of a common education, they capped themselves at $43 a student.
Correct.
Okay.
Plus whatever the land trust could bring in.
Right. So this is of appropriated funds, the legislative appropriated out of the legislative budget.
Right.
$43. Beyond that, whatever, like through mineral rights, royalties, rentals in it of the land.
Here's the problem. And this is
by the way, we got to say what the land trust is. We set aside a certain amount of land as belonging to the education land trust, right?
Correct. And whatever that land can generate in income.
Okay. Through sharecropping, minerals,
through you name it.
Rent.
Any way you can use that land.
However you market it.
A lot of it is wilderness land. And so they market it by, like they do state parks and so forth, and they charge people to come in, whatever. However they want to use it, that then goes to pay for the schools. Well, the problem is that you run afoul of the U.S. Constitution because the takings clause of the Fifth Amendment doesn't allow for the taking of private property, money, taxes, where you are not being justly compensated for the money taken from you.
Oh, now we know I think it's the Fifth Amendment Bill of Rights, it says they shall not take without giving you just compensation, such as eminent domain, where they take for road widening, they take part of your easement.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the clause I'm talking about. The thing is, property is so much more than land and horses or vehicles and cars.
Yeah, cash in the bank is property.
Absolutely. Everything you have, your clothing is property, everything. They cannot take it for public use without just compensation. So when you look at the things that government does, things like the courts, the police, fire, all you have to do is pick up the phone and dial 911 and you have them at your door.
Okay. So we are definitely going down a rabbit trail, but this is so rich. I want to continue. Okay. Before World War I, basically there was no income tax.
Right.
The states were assessed a percentage of what they had to pay to run federal government, right?
Right.
Okay. And then we charged tariffs. Hello, Donald Trump. Yeah, it wasn't your idea originally, but Trump is saying, you know what? We could go back to tariffs and it could eventually eliminate the need for an income tax.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to get back to that part. So you're saying, wait a minute, how is it they have to compensate me for the taxes that they're collecting from me? But,
well, this goes to
we didn't pay income tax for most of our history as a nation.
And this goes back to letters that were transmitted between Great Britain and the colonies before the Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And in one, we said that our gifts to the king were voluntary, and by that we would give as we saw fit and as benefited us.
Yeah.
And not for all of the things, and they said not when the money is put to venal waste and is spent without ever coming back to the colonies.
Let's try to loop back now. We were talking about the school land trust as a way of funding, and then we talked about schools before that.
The idea, the whole tie here is that we don't have a sufficient group of people running for office who understand that although we have a state constitution, that state constitution must be in accord with the U.S. Constitution. And where it is not, where it diverges from the U.S. Constitution and does not protect rights that are guaranteed under the U.S., then they're null and void. So our state constitution has major parts of it that are just null and void.
Now, isn't it true, though, a state constitution might go further on a particular issue so long as it doesn't contradict federal government?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't go further than absolute right.
Let's take the Blaine Amendment, for instance. When the legislature is told that 10 Commandments monument, you can't have that on state grounds. And they used what was commonly referred to the Blaine Amendment, which made it into our Constitution, even though it didn't pass as a U.S. constitutional amendment. And what was said at the time is that could stay if it was a federal case citing the U.S. Constitution. It wouldn't be in violation of that, but it was in violation of the state constitution, which went further.
Right.
On saying you can't give any state resources to a sectarian religion.
Well, in that one, the state constitution would be legitimate because the federal constitution doesn't address it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It can go further. It just cannot contradict.
Well, you have the right. You and I would have the right to go to the Capitol grounds and recite the 10 Commandments.
Right.
But we don't have the right to force the government to pay for upkeep on a monument we would then produce.
Now, we're actually not even following that. Our Oklahoma National Guard has chaplains who are paid.
Well, every military does that.
Well, of course they do, but that doesn't mean that it's okay then by the Oklahoma Constitution. See, this is the problem we run. And our friend John Eccles ran the legislation to bring it to vote of the people. Shall we strike that? And the people of Oklahoma said, no, keep it there.
Right.
And I was like, wow. Fact is, I went to, our friends with Liberty on Tap, the libertarian local group. And they opposed that state question. And the only two things, there were 6 of them on that primary ballot. And the only things that they opposed were alcohol and pot. They were supportive.
Right.
I said, so unless, in fact, our friend Dr. Shannon Grimes, I just said, so in other words, this body says, unless it's about, pot and liquor, you're against it. He's, well, no. I said, that's what you're saying. He's, I guess, but they were just very much of, what I want. And that's the principle, David, I want to get to.
Okay. We
can't be selfish about constitutional rights.
Correct.
The constitutional rights that support somebody of a different cultural value system as yours, you have to support his rights as much as you support your own, because otherwise they use us against each other and take away everybody's rights.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is I have a personal motive to see my rights protected.
Mm-hmm.
But this is oh so much bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that I'll necessarily see all of this. I want to leave this place better than for my kids and grandkids. I want to see this place left better than I found it. Mm-hmm. And so that's my hope, is that we will leave it better than when we came in, freer than we knew it. And that is always the hope, that we have done our part to protect and not pollute the political landscape with more garbage, more tyranny.
Should we get back to the governor's race?
Yeah. So all of that, to tie everything in, is the hardest part is finding people who understand these kinds of concepts,
mm-hmm.
because they're made up of the rest of us, and generally people don't understand these concepts. Yeah. And I hope I haven't, I didn't mean to speak over over top of everything, and I'm not.
Yeah, but David, this is why the leftists have taken over public education, because if they teach you nothing but socialism in all of your education, guess what? You raise a generation of socialists.
Well, stop and think about it. Even if they got you into school and into public school, and then they turned around and taught you everything straight down the line that we would like to have them teach, stop and think about it. What have we taught them on day one, or even before day one? And that is that they have a right to every